5,123. That's how many total yards Daunte Culpepper put up in 2004, passing and rushing combined. No quarterback in NFL history had ever done that before. Marino never did it. Elway never did it. Nobody had. 4,717 passing yards, 39 touchdowns, and 110.9 passer rating. He completed nearly 70% of his throws, and when the pocket broke down, he tucked the ball and ran through linebackers. 6'4", 260 pounds, ran a 4.5 40. Daunte Culpepper wasn't playing the same position as everybody else. He was playing something the league hadn't seen yet. Then, on October 30th, 2005, one hit tore 3 ligaments out of his knee at the same time. And what did the NFL do? Traded him before the knee healed. Rushed him onto a field he had no business being on. Then, cut him loose when he couldn't carry an offense on one leg. A 260-pound quarterback who rewrote the record book. Gone in 3 years. Not because the talent dried up. Because nobody gave that knee enough time. This is the Gameday Giants. January 28th, 1977. Ocala, Florida. Daunte Culpepper is born inside a prison. His biological mother, Barbara Henderson, is serving time for armed robbery. She's a teenager. But a woman named Emma Culpepper, who worked at the same correctional facility, takes the baby home, 1 day old. She raises him as her own, the last of more than 15 children she fostered over her lifetime, none of them biologically hers. At Vanguard High School, Culpepper was named Mr. Football for the entire state of Florida. Played basketball, played baseball, built like a linebacker, but moved like a wide receiver. But the major football programs still weren't calling. He landed at the University of Central Florida. He broke about 30 school records before he was done. Over 12,000 yards of total offense, 108 career touchdowns, and he set the NCAA single-season completion record at 73.6%, beating Steve Young's old mark. The Minnesota Vikings took him 11th overall in the 1999 NFL Draft, and at the Combine, he put the league on notice. 6'4", 260 pounds, a 4.5 40. Scouts kept looking at the measurables and then looking back at the position listed on the card. Quarterback. They couldn't square it. A guy that big isn't supposed to run like that, and he definitely isn't supposed to throw like that. In his second year in the league, Culpepper takes the starting job. 3,937 passing yards, 33 touchdown passes, most in the NFL that season, 470 rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns. He took the Vikings to the NFC Championship game. And here's what made Culpepper different from every quarterback who came before him. If you blitzed, he threw over you to Randy Moss. If you sat back in coverage, he tucked the ball and ran through your linebackers like a fullback. There was no schematic answer. You couldn't plan for a guy who was simultaneously the best passer on the field and the hardest runner to tackle. People talk about Cam Newton revolutionizing the position. They talk about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Daunte Culpepper was doing it first, in an era when the league wasn't built for it. When quarterbacks were supposed to stand in the pocket, read the defense, and throw, Culpepper looked at that playbook and said, I'll do all that, and I'll also be the biggest, fastest player on the field. He made 3 Pro Bowls. He had the Vikings looking like a perennial contender. And then, in 2004, he put up a season that should have changed how we talk about quarterbacking forever. Let's put 2004 in context. Randy Moss missed some time with a hamstring injury. The media wrote Minnesota off, said the offense couldn't function without number 84. Culpepper responded by having the single greatest total yardage season any quarterback had ever produced. 4,717 passing yards, 39 passing touchdowns, 406 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 5,123 total yards, an NFL record. He broke Dan Marino's record for a combined passing and rushing yards. He completed 379 passes and threw just 11 interceptions. He accounted for 41 total touchdowns. Now, Peyton Manning won the MVP that year, and Manning earned it. 49 touchdowns, and 121.1 passer rating. That's a historical season by any measure. But here's the part nobody talks about. Culpepper threw for more yards than Manning. He produced more total offense, and he did it with fewer weapons around him on a team that went 8-8. Manning had Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Edgerrin James, and a 12-4 roster. Culpepper was dragging an inconsistent Vikings team into the playoffs by himself. That 2004 season should have been the beginning of a dynasty. Instead, it was the last time we ever saw the real Daunte Culpepper. Going into 2005, the Vikings had already been gutted. Randy Moss was traded to Oakland. Offensive coordinator Scott Linehan left. Pro Bowl center Matt Burke was out for the season with surgery. The offensive line was a mess. Culpepper was taking hit after hit behind a leaky front. His knee was already sore. The team was 2-5. Everything around him was falling apart. October 30th, a loss at Carolina. A low hit forces his right knee into hyperextension. 3 ligaments shredded in one play. That's not just a knee injury. Doctors described it as a low-velocity knee dislocation, the kind of catastrophic damage that ends careers outright. He had surgery in November. The Vikings put him on injured reserve. And here's where the story takes a turn that should make you angry. Spring of 2006, 2 quarterbacks are on the market, both coming off devastating injuries. Drew Brees just tore his labrum in San Diego. Daunte Culpepper just had 3 ligaments rebuilt in Minnesota. Both need a franchise to believe in them. The Miami Dolphins, coached by Nick Saban, have to pick one. Now here's what most people get wrong about this story. Saban actually wanted Brees first. Miami offered him a contract, but when Brees came in for a physical, the team doctors flagged his shoulder. He didn't pass. Miami pulled back on the money, and Brees, insulted, called his agent and signed with New Orleans that same day. Plan B, trade a second-round pick to Minnesota for Culpepper. Culpepper wasn't ready. His knee hadn't fully healed. He needed more time. Everyone could see it. Saban played him anyway. Week 1. 4 games. That's all he lasted. He completed 81 passes, threw just 2 touchdowns against 3 interceptions. He was getting battered behind a bad offensive line, planning on a knee that hadn't been right for less than a year. Saban benched him. Then, before the season was even over, Culpepper went back on the injured reserve for more knee surgery. And then, Saban abandoned the entire franchise, left for Alabama. Miami released Culpepper the following summer. His prime wasn't ended by a lack of talent. It was ended by a medical staff that cleared him too early, a coach who needed wins he didn't deserve, and an organization that treated a franchise quarterback like a rental car. Culpepper bounced to Oakland, played 7 games, got hurt again, went to Detroit, barely played, ended up in the United Football League before quietly retiring. 24,153 passing yards, 149 touchdowns, 2,652 rushing yards, 34 rushing touchdowns, 3 Pro Bowls. In a 2004 season, that still holds the record for total QB yardage in a single year. Here's what bothers me about Daunte Culpepper's story. We celebrate the dual threat quarterback now. We build entire offenses around guys who can throw and run. Lamar Jackson wins MVPs doing it. Josh Allen gets called a generational talent for it. Daunte Culpepper was doing it 20 years before any of them, at a bigger size, with a stronger arm, in an era that wasn't built for it. And instead of being remembered as the prototype, the guy who proved a 260-pound quarterback could run a 4.5 40, throw for nearly 5,000 yards, and drag a team to the playoffs. The ultimate what could have been. So here's my question for you. If Daunte Culpepper's knee never explodes in Carolina, if he gets 5 more healthy years of what we saw in 2004, where does he rank all time? Top 10? Does he sneak into the top 5? Drop it into the comments. I want to see the debates. And if you think the league failed him, like they failed a lot of the other guys we cover on this channel, hit that subscribe button. We tell the stories the NFL would rather you forget. This is the Game Day Giants. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.